When Susanna learned that Luciano would not be the one to walk her down the aisle, her world collapsed in an instant, filling everyone's hearts with painful uncertainty. In the meantime, subscribe to our channel so you don't miss the next exciting stories. But now, enjoy. Susanna was a young woman of 25, with brown hair and green eyes that shone with determination and hope. She had grown up in Florence, a city she deeply loves for its historical beauty and romantic atmosphere. She lived with her mother Maria and her stepfather Luciano, a man she had met when she was only 2 years old. Her biological father, Jeff, had abandoned her and Maria shortly after she was born, and his presence in her life had always been sporadic and distant. Luciano, on the other hand, had always been there. A man of great heart, he had taken the girl under his wing, as if she were his own daughter. It was he who taught her to read, took her to school, and consoled her on nights when fever kept her awake. They had built a loving and stable family with her, making sure that Susanna never felt the lack of a father. For the girl, the man was not just a stepfather, but her real dad, the one who had always had her well-being at heart. Susanna worked as an interior designer and had met Nicola, a young entrepreneur 2 years earlier. They had quickly fallen in love, sharing dreams and plans for the future. When Nicola asked her to marry him, the young woman felt over the moon. Her life seemed perfect. She had a job she loved, a family who supported her, and a boyfriend who adored her. The wedding preparations were underway, and every detail was carefully planned. Susanna and Nicola wanted an intimate ceremony, surrounded only by their closest friends and relatives. However, an unexpected financial difficulty put a damper on their plans. The company of the future husband, until then prosperous, suddenly found itself facing a serious financial emergency. All the funds intended for the wedding had to be used to solve the business crisis. While Susanna watched her dream of a perfect wedding fade away because of the crisis that had hit Nicola's company, Luciano watched in silence, his heart heavy. In those moments of tension and pain, he made a decision that would change everything. He would sacrifice himself to ensure his beloved goddaughter the marriage she had always wanted. With a deep breath and tears in his eyes, he announced his choice, putting aside his savings, regardless of the cost, just to see Susanna happy. When he told Susanna and Nicola, tears of gratitude filled the young woman's eyes. Luciano's gesture was not only an act of generosity, but a demonstration of the deep love he felt for her. As the preparations continued, the woman decided to invite Jeff to the wedding. Despite their distant relationship, she wanted her biological father to be present on that special day. When Jeff confirmed his presence, Susanna was filled with joy. However, this news brought a note of sadness to Luciano's heart, who feared being overshadowed. On the day of the wedding, Florence was shining under the sun. Guests gathered in the church, and the excitement in the air was palpable. The beautiful bride, dressed in a white dress that accentuated her natural beauty, was radiant. As she looked at her reflection in the mirror, she felt like the luckiest woman in the world. But there was still one more surprise waiting for her. If you like the story, leave a like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for the support." Luciano, sitting in the front row, watched with apparent calm as the guests arrived, but deep down he was struggling with his emotions. His mind was filled with conflicting thoughts, wondering what role he would play in that special day, while Jeff, his biological father, was there. Luciano, sitting in the front row, watched with apparent calm as the guests arrived, but deep down he was struggling with his emotions. His mind was filled with conflicting thoughts, wondering what role he would play in that special day, while Jeff, his biological father, was there. Then, with a gentle touch on the shoulder, one of the organizers called out, "Susanna is waiting for you to lead her to the altar." In that moment, Luciano's world shook. He couldn't believe what he was hearing. His heart pounded as he stood up and walked toward the room where Susanna was waiting for him. When he saw her, radiant in her wedding dress, tears filled his eyes. "Dad, Luciano, don't you want me to get married?" Susanna said with a tender smile. He looked at her with admiration and emotion. "I thought that since your biological father would be here, he would be the one to walk you down the aisle." Susanna looked deeply into Luciano's eyes, expressing all her love and gratitude. "Dad, I was happy to know that my biological father would come, but it wasn't him who was by my side when I was sick, who taught me to read, who consoled me in difficult moments. It was you. For me, you are my real father. You are my..." With these words, the man's heart filled with pride and happiness. With a smile, he took Susanna by the hand and led her to the altar. The ceremony was emotional and moving, a true tribute to the love and dedication he had shown her over the years. As the wedding progressed, the guests could not help but notice the beauty of the bond between Susanna and Luciano. Despite Jeff's presence, it was clear to everyone who was the real father of the bride. The ceremony culminated in a moment of pure happiness, with the young spouses exchanging vows and promising each other eternal love. The day ended with a wonderful party, full of laughter, dancing, and emotion. Susanna and Nicola were surrounded by the love of their loved ones, and Luciano's gesture remained imprinted in everyone's hearts. His generosity and his unconditional love had made that special day possible. This story teaches that the true meaning of family goes beyond blood ties.